speech. Okay, they're ready. Yeah, TEREZA, she'll be fast. Introduce yourself, please.
Okay, can you hear me? Yep.
Yes.
You can hear me, great. So my name is TEREZA NEMESSANYI. I'm with Microsoft and I work at the worldwide level out of New York with a select set of late stage venture capital firms and early stage private equity firms with high growth tech startup holdings, kind of like unicorns, to look at ways that they can partner to drive their growth further. So I'm probably, kind of a downstream potential catcher of some startups that would be pitching. I've been with Microsoft for about 8 years. I'm a former founder, longtime tech company executive. Delighted to be here.
Okay, Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Loud, and my background is with big tech, Apple and PayPal. Moved into fintech with PayPal, and then I moved into the blockchain industry, and now I am with GDA, Global Digital Assets, which is a blockchain investment company that invests in various different startups, mostly in the blockchain and token space, but also with some fintech as well. So we look at a lot of different projects. I get to see a lot of different things come through, and some of these projects are really exciting, really innovative. So I'm always looking for the projects that make sense and that have a good business model and will be good investments.
Yes, thank you so much. And Radhika.
I'll go next. Yeah, I'm Radhika Iyengar. I'm a founding partner at StarChain Ventures. We're a venture studio here in Silicon Valley. And we're focused on the convergence of advanced technologies that includes blockchain, AI, IoT, among others. Published a book called Enterprise Blockchain Has Arrived, for those that might not have seen it. So that was published late last year, and we're really driving the next generation of enterprise applications, and with a focus on healthcare, fintech, and supply chain predominantly, but not exclusively. And really looking forward to hearing the pitches today.
Thank you so much, ladies. And yeah, Andre, please share your screen.
Second.
Yeah, and please start your pitch.
Okay. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. My name is Andre. I'm the CMO of the company, which is called Everytail, and we do global virtual events. So in the for the recent year, we have seen a huge pivot to virtual events, but is the industry ready yet for finding all of the virtual events, huge summits, conferences? Are the people acknowledging what the problems are in the market? And the answer is not yet. So we have depicted a couple of problems that we're going to solve with our B2B SaaS product. So first of all, it's the knowledge gap, that event organizers lack the knowledge and the skills to provide a virtual event experience. Then we've got the promotion of how to promote the event, not only within the customer's list of the host or of an event organizers, but also to go abroad to other countries, to other markets, and find new leads for them. And finally, it's the engagement. Engagement during each virtual event is a huge hurdle and also a big limitation for a lot of hosts. So what is the solution? What is the solution to which problem? The event organizers are lacking set of skills, or like looking for a set of skills which is required to organize an engaging and an interesting virtual event, and utilizing new marketing channels. So what we came up with is Everytail, the platform that includes the integration, the vertical integration of different prospects, as creating event, events, promoting them, selling the tickets, broadcasting the event itself, and archiving it or uploading it. And by this means, I say that we do not have any further integrations. Everything is done in one place. It's an all-in-one solution, and that's one of our unique selling propositions. So first of all, Everytail boosts attendance by extending an event's reach into additional markets, which is made use of our users, of our old users of our platform. Then secondly, organizers develop the value to their attendees, speaker, and connecting them to sponsors during and after the event. And finally, Everytail extends the event life cycle and profit by hosting and monetizing content after the live event is finished. I would also go deeper on the last point. We do not only give our host the chance to organize a live event, but we also come from the other perspective of saying you can also upload the recent events. So during the pandemic, we have seen that a lot of events are being recorded, a lot of sessions are being recorded, and all of this content is so-called the lazy content laying around on drives and or being uploaded to YouTube where it's not monetized or else what. Therefore, we have decided to give our key accounts an opportunity to upload their events and recreate their events in a very comprehensive structure on our platform. And what is even more interesting is that we make use of the content and of the users. We are creating a platform which is not super user friendly and easy to use, but also on point in regard to personalization. So every time a user is going on the platform, we make use of big data to personalize the content for them. So everyone, when every customer is going on the platform, either creating an event or watching an event, there will be a structured sequence of events, of videos, and of content just for this particular user. We also have polls, questionnaires, live chats, and a set of different features to support the engagement during this event. Finally, our business model is pretty straightforward. We've got a freemium model for do-it-yourself users, which is only tailored to the number of attendees, starting at $0 for users to try it out, and then scaling up in regards to the number of users. And secondly, we have the enterprise solution where customers like bigger conferences and summits would like a white label solution, branding, etc., which is made on requests. Therefore, the price could be custom, and it is usually tailored to the budget of our clients. What is the outcome from our product? The outcome is that our events platform boosts the profit of all events which take place on Everytail. Either those are live events in the future or the past events. And that means we're increasing the life cycle of these events and giving our hosts, our key accounts, an additional communication channel, which is yet to be developed. A little to traction so far. We have started with a beta of our platform. We have opened the beta in September this year, and although we are not at the MVP stage, we have also already done a couple of revenues. In December, we have contracts for around $90K, and we believe to be done with our minimal viable product by end of January of 2021. Our HQ is in New York. Our operations is in New York and Berlin, so we're approaching 2 markets simultaneously, and our development team is based in Russia. Finally, we're well funded. We have just closed another round of financing, the seed round, and we're looking forward to escalate the next round in the beginning of the next year. Our go-to-market plan is pretty straightforward. We're gonna expand the Russian market to 100,000 MRR by the end of January, since the development has started there and it was kind of go-to-market, the starting market of our company. Since it was in Russia, we will continue with the Russian market, but simultaneously pivoting to US and the European market. We're gonna finish the competitive features by the end of Q1 in the next year and approach the customers over our marketing and sales strategy that we have conducted and will be rolling out starting from the beginning of the next year. So we have B2B sales channels. We have a very powerful affiliate program using ambassadors, the decision makers and industry leaders. We are partnering up with associations and so-called multipliers of the industry. Those will help us to scale our business as soon as we are ready. Finally, our team at the moment consists of 23 individuals. Of them, 18 are developers, just to fulfill the development process. And we're currently recruiting multiple sales and marketing employees for our success. What is not listed on the slide is our advisors list. Between our advisors, we have the decision makers from the events industry, as Adam Perry and Troy Malone, maybe also known as a co-founder of Evernote. These people are advising us on daily basis in regards to business operations, financing, and integrations. That's it from my side. If you have any questions, I would be willing to answer them all. Thank you.
Very nice presentation. You look very together, and your timing is amazing, right? Obviously, this is a good time to be figuring out how to monetize events. I know in our industry, in the blockchain industry, all of the events and finance, all of the events were virtual this year. And it's interesting what you say about lazy content. For example, Money 2020, all of the content was recorded and available, but there are so many sessions that I went and watched some of them. And the nice thing was I could watch different ones at the same time, right? I didn't have to be in one place at one time, but I don't know that they monetized it very well. And the attendance is very different with these virtual conferences, having experienced several of them now. It's really difficult to monetize. So I'm curious about your monetization strategy with the content. How do you think it will companies will be able to monetize the content that's recorded? Because so far it's been all free, and there seems to be an expectation that it will be free.
So we do understand that some events are not being published nowhere. So for example, if you take one of the biggest conferences like the NOAA, or there are a lot of expert conferences which are being sold. The tickets to the conferences are being sold, but once the event is over, they would never upload the event anywhere. So what our proposition was is to take into consideration the paid events from the past and advise them to lower the price and resell these events. So it wouldn't work for the monetization feature, wouldn't work for free events which have taken place in the past for free. But for those events, the monetization will happen in a slightly different manner. So it's not only about the financial scalability, but also about the brand scalability. So if you have if we have a set of users from different markets, we have experts, different demographics, and we have the audience that you would like to reach, it's more about the brand and the sponsors that you're attracting to your session than the money you're getting from a sold event on our platform, if it makes sense.
Yeah, and the experience is not very good. I mean, for example, Money 2020 is normally a very expensive event. This year it was free. You could get a ticket for free, and you could access the recorded. So it's not in the category of previously free events, but this year it was because it was virtual. So, but the experience was not that great. You couldn't go and re-experience the event later. And what I heard, and maybe you can confirm, is that your platform will allow more of a 360 re-experiencing of the event, so you can access all of the different parts, and it's more accessible, more
We
at your
have,
fingertips.
yeah, I totally understand. We do emphasize, since also in the past event, but also in live events, engagement is super important, and therefore we have created several tools which will boost the engagement during these events. And for example, in terms of recreation and event, when a person is watching through a past event, he can be shown a poll or a questionnaire, which is popping up like a pop-up window during this event, which would boost the engagement during this event. We are also planning to implement the gamification features, which will also keep the users within events and drive the motivation higher to participate, to ask questions, even if the event is over. So there are a lot of ways how to create connections between the listeners or the participants and the event hosts or the sponsors, even after the event is finished. And that's the goal for our platform.
I had questions regarding competition, because there are a lot of actually other providers in the event space. It's so, while I would agree that the timing is really good, like Lisa said, there are a lot of other people as well offering solutions. Not to mention, people like Huva, or there's another startup called Run the World, for example, and they've been very well funded with 816Z, etc. They've also had other kinds of major event partners with them. So this is not like a first time kind of experience. And I see you have your competitive slide up. What do you feel is the most salient differentiator with your competition? Because they're also kind of servicing the content and the availability, the engagement in particular, and different people have different methods of engaging the virtual events. One of the things that I always find a difficulty when I'm in a virtual event is if I'm speaking, and that's usually my interest is from a speaker perspective even. Before, when I was speaking at a conference, I would be able to engage with other speakers in a much more interactive fashion. You're there, you're live, you meet people. It's really exciting. In a virtual session, you're just there. Look at us here. You've got limited interaction, and then you've got to have the follow-up afterwards and keeping in touch with people and so on. How do you promote the interaction? How do you differentiate from other people who are trying to have other methods of interacting, not only between attendees, but let's say between speakers?
Yeah, very fair, very, very fair question. I think it's in regards to the communication, the straight communication on the platform. We are currently rolling out the matchmaking, which no platform yet has had. What it means is that during the event, a participant, a user can write up whom he is interested in. So either those are the venture capitalists, other founders, or people who are interested in topics like women in business or Fortune 500, whatever. There will be enough keywords for everyone. And if someone is interested in a specific keyword, this person will be then matched up with another person who is either also interested in this field or willing to pursue certain questions or discuss certain questions. We're currently rolling out this feature, and this will be one of the unique selling propositions that we're going to offer. But besides that, if you would look on all the platforms out there at the moment, they are tailored, they are made for the user from the perspective of the host. So they're done for the host to completely organize the event, but they totally they do not look at the end users, at the participants. So what we do is we integrate the user perspective as one of our main goals to do the platform platform as user friendly as it gets, and by these means provide a very unique experience for the attendees as well as for the hosts. Why that? We don't only want hosts to organize events on our platform, but we want the participants to actually stay on the platform and explore more events. That's our differentiation to our platform. If you would jump on the platform, you would directly understand what I mean, because when you're going to the platform, you have you're getting the overview of all events which are coming up. And that's the interesting feature about what differentiates us to other products out there.
You might want to look at Huva, because they do. The reason is I just hosted a huge conference. We had about 8,000 attendees worldwide from, say, about 60 countries. And Huva as a platform does sort of after the event engagement. We see a lot of engaged users in groups, et cetera. They can create their groups, et cetera. And so you might want to take a look at them, because some of the features I think are being addressed by some of the other competitors that are out there. The other thing, for example, with Run the World, I was told that they have these profiles of speakers, kind of like an Instagram kind of a thing, where they promote the engagement that way. So you might want to take a look at some of those features, because I think this interactive engagement is going to be very critical for success. There are a lot of people out there, and it's very easy to lose interest. Like Lisa said, maybe it's just the lazy content, like you were saying, you're not interacting truly with the content. And then the monetization, I feel that could be a dicey kind of thing when you think about a conference producer. So say, for example, in our case, we're a nonprofit based here that's focused on global entrepreneurship. Thai Silicon Valley is the Silicon Valley chapter of Thai. This conference is for all of Thai, and we own the content. So when you're talking about monetizing content, we'd like to be, from a conference producer standpoint, in control of the content and the platform, and saying we'd like to monetize from that. So to have it completely reside on your platform may or may not be the best solution, because we might say, well, no, we want it on our platform. This is our content, so we want the engagement on our platform rather than through another third party. Does that make sense? So there could be some friction, I think, in terms of ownership of content, in terms of dissemination of content, in terms of how the after event kind of interaction occurs with pre-recorded sessions, as a live events, etc.
So totally fair. I believe that the points that you have named are all covered on our platform. So each host and each participant can create his own dashboard and enter the information about himself to then, at the end of the day, be matched with the other parties and the events of other hosts. And the intellectual property as well as the data privacy and data security of our users is very important to us, and therefore we're giving the choice of the intellectual property, like the rights are completely belonging to the hosts. So that's one of the closures that people have to accept when they're uploading the event. If we have also very strong compliance on the back end, so if there are any misconceptions or again juristically, the law, the intellectual property, the legal problems, we would directly take care of it. So it is very important for us. I cannot emphasize it anymore. It's one of our main goals to give our hosts the best experience, and the participants as well.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So following up on that, so just for a little bit of background, my employer, Microsoft does like hundreds of events a year for, various audiences, developer audiences, enterprise customers of all different segments and whatnot. So when COVID hit, and these are like big dollar in-person events, some of them we charge for, some of them we don't charge for. But they're not a profit center in and of themselves. It's all about driving ecosystem for our stuff. So like a lot of event sort of capability and capacity. And so when COVID hit, there needed to be some major decisions needed to be made extremely quickly on some really major conferences. And they ultimately decided to go 100% virtual through June 2021 at a minimum. Now we're in December, so it sounds obvious, but at the time, March or April of last year, there was a lot of major developer conferences from all of the providers were coming up, and who's going to, are they going to have it? Are they not? Are they going to cancel? Or are they not? And so corporately, a decision was made, and it was one of the early ones, to cancel all in-person events for 18 months and to define the event of the future. And I'm going into that for a reason. I want to understand a little bit more. I see you as a platform, and it feels like, it's has this kind of turnkey ability. And, I just wonder, like, is it the event of the past or the event of the future? And if someone is inventing or, creating, events are changing so quickly, or what,
Yeah.
like, what we knew immediately is that our virtual events, which we've always recorded them, we've always simulcast them, we've always wrapped up the sessions, we've always had translation capability because they're all global events. They're, so like all had interaction, breakout rooms, all of that, check. But even with that, a digital version of an in-person event is not necessarily the same thing as an optimal virtual event. Like you're turning into some kind of interactive TV production or, something like that. So I guess what I wanted to understand is you're working with these customers who are putting on events. They're going through rapid change. To what degree do you need to hold their hand or be part? I mean, a lot of decisions that they make in the production of the event impact what you're going to be able to do in the replay downstream. And so it would seem to me that your customers are like in the process of a major reinvention and re-envisioning of their own product. Like, but you're a platform. So do you have a consulting arm, or do you how do you handle that dynamism? Or are you doing like more long tail events? So you're not working with the more, progressive kinds of events. So, sorry, that was a random walk of a question, but I mean, we are in the middle of massive disruption right now on this stuff.
That's true.
So,
I totally agree with you on that point. So the idea of Everytail was to create a platform for digital events to broadcast for live events, for the future events. So when if there is an event in January, on 16th of January next year, you would actually broadcast it over our platform. So the whole ecosystem has been done for the live events. However, the idea with a past event has come to us through one of our advisors, and the idea was to concentrate the past events and re-upload it on our platform, not only to monetize it or to increase the brand perception for the host, but also to promote our platform. That was the basic idea, and I would totally agree with the engagement of the live events because that's like the reinventing of engagement in virtual events, or creating the engagement during the virtual events is a huge problem for a lot of hosts. And I think no platform yet has come up with a decision or with a certain feature that solves that, because it will be only solved over time, where people are getting used to a certain feature. For us, it will be the interfoundry board where everyone could interact during the live event. So if we are having a Zoom call, we will actually have another board which would look like a screen sharing, where everyone could write and depict pictures on. It would be great for brainstorming, for collaborative working. So we're looking in that direction to introduce more collaborative features and to integrate them on our platform. It wouldn't be the case for the past events, since they're already in the past and they are not now to be could not be changed anymore. We would integrate these features more towards the virtual live events, and that's our one of our biggest to goes. If that answers the question, I hope so, at least.
Well, it's a journey, right? It's not I don't know that it's possible to exactly have a crisp answer, but I do think that we're in radical change. I think that, let me ask a follow-up here, which is, I do think that the needs and the abilities and the budgets and the motivations for event design are going to be very different by segment. So if you have conference organizers like Money 2020, which, Lisa provided, like that's a professional event organization that has a P&L per event, and that's why they do it. On the other hand, you have like event conferences or industry conferences that are
Okay, Web Summit, for example. Yeah, Web Summit.
Like Dreamforce or something like that, And so they do that as a marketing expense for their community to test out the tools, especially for, but they will not engage if they're not having people interact with each other, and if I think they would really require engagement day of, they just, that measurement is super, super, super important to show, ROI. And I'm curious how you segmented your market, because I think it's hard to do both well. Who are you prioritizing? Is it the professional industry organizers, the for-profit industry, for-profit event organizers, or are you looking at industry organizers?
Yeah, who is your target market?
Yeah, I think it's a very fair question. The good thing is that we have not yet concentrated on a specific field in the events industry, but we have directly started from the broader approach. We are creating a platform where you can customize your event. So it's not a template event that you can create, but it's all up to you whether you want to have more collaborative working, more breakout sessions, a big stage, or where people can interact with each other and do the matchmaking with themselves. Since we're a very young platform, it's also there are ups and downsides. And one of the upsides is that since we're working with numerous customers, which are telling us what their preferences are, and one of them, like numerous of them, have been named in the call right now. I believe we're catering to the right direction. So we're allowing all types of privacy. So if you would say there are events which are like totally for profit, and some of them are totally for the community. I could also tell that in some events, for example, from Germany, where experts are taking place in the experts discussions, the community is super important, and they wouldn't communicate this event to the outer world. So they have their small circle of experts, and for them the collaboration or the exchange and the security of the event are the most important factors. So it is super different for each and every event, and therefore we wouldn't concentrate on a certain field of it's either for profit or not. We're going by the rule of thumb, though, the connecting investors or sponsors, attendees, and the hosts with each other, creating a great CRM system. And starting from there, we have a totally customizable tool, which is tailored to the interests of our users. I would be willing to show you the demonstration of our platform, so you would see for yourself that all of the needs are being met. And yeah, I would be really looking forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn to either discussing further opportunities or
yes. And Andrew, I have a question about secret sauce for your core technology. What is this? Something for the voice recognition, or maybe deepfakes?
So we on the surface of user friendliness and ease of use, we have a very deep tech solution that we have been working on for 1.5 years. First of all, the smart suggestions, or the connection between the users of the platform and all of the events out there, is based on the AI, artificial intelligence algorithms, which are fast forwarding the information through our servers to make the best recommendations. It works kind of same like the YouTube does, but with events. And second of all, we've got a speech-to-text solution, which we are currently working on. Imagine an event on the other side of the world that you're interested in, but due to communication skills, you're not able to understand or comprehend what they're speaking of. So either it's a Chinese event, or like an event in Mandarin, or an event in Hindu that you would like to attend because of certain speakers or certain base of knowledge. We would give you a chance to attend this event or understand what it is actually about, and that's the speech-to-text solution that we are integrating to our platform. So in any event, the speech, English, German, French, we are currently working with up to 20 languages, will be directly translated to the Go language and described as subtitles.
Okay, Andrew, thank you so much. And what is your advices for the startup?
So I have a thought. I think, I mean, I believe in the event space and the digital event space. I think there's a lot of value to be created. So, you know, like I like the space in general is my point. I think though that it is so broad and there is such variance of events, plus we have the disruptive change that it can be, you do have the, you have the classic platform problem, right? It's like you're sort of everything for everyone, but then it can be hard to bite into the actual thing. And I know that you weren't provided an opportunity to demo, but you still can, both in your pitch and helping people understand, if you have like one or two really good journeys or case examples that paint the picture of the value creation. Ultimately, if they tied to some numbers, that would be even better. So one might be the journey of the event attendee, you know, and then the journey of the host of it, and then maybe an experience for both of those after, to show that like today, this is what happens, or without every tale, this is what happens, but then here's the magic. So we can kind of really see it's a show, not tell. And like personally, I often think that in a platform type of situation, if you can think of 3 case examples, the sum of all of those combinations sort of define your playground, you know? So one might be a combo that's, you know, like the Money 2020 example of a for-profit, you know, professional conference. And then maybe a different one might be more of a consumer type of a fun, you know, costume conference, or, you know, but they make, you know, and then another one might be a real corporate event. And then you can bake in the different kinds of features to show how you drive the value in some very different scenarios, so that we can see not only what it's not, but what it is, and its relevance, you know, or you get narrower on who you're serving. Because I can't help but think that there are just some really different needs out there. And so I found myself yearning to witness you crushing one of them. And so set yourself up to crush an example, so then people can start applying it to some different examples. That's my take.
Very, very, very valuable. Thank you very much. I think, Manana, you're on mute.
Yes, Andrew, thank you so much for your pitch. Yeah, and our next startup, Anatoly.
Hey, hello everyone. How's it going?
Hi.
So yeah, let I share my screen. Just a second. So do you see on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Pum, pum. Yeah. Hello everyone again. My name is Anatoly. I am founder and CEO of Magic Kids. For the 5 past years, my team and I have developed a lot of products with augmented reality and machine learning technologies for different companies in Europe. It was museums, banks, insurance companies. For example, we worked with the Russian space agency. It's like SpaceX, but a Russian version of SpaceX. Yes, and but all the time we wanted to make something big for the people, and we tested different ideas in different markets, in different areas. For example, we tested e-commerce market, we tested gaming market, and we noticed that one problem in kids education market. Do you know that many students today, aged 4 through 8 years old, only spend about 15 minutes on a lesson before moving into digital game or cartoon? But in the same time, they spend on average 3 hours of screen time a day. And in the same time, we can see that if we integrate interactive technologies in educational process, we can see amazing results. For example, we can see that students become engaged in lessons or understood more difficult concepts better and something like this. And this is why we created Magic Kids. Magic Kids is educational app using augmented reality and machine learning technology. How does it work? Parents download our app, pay a small monthly subscription fee, which opens a new world of learning. Few words about our secret sauce. First of all, it's about our main character, Alice. Alice is artificial intelligence virtual friend for kids. Alice understands everything. For example, we use voice recognition, we use some reinforcement learning technologies, and Alice, she's a friend for kids, virtual friend. Number 2 is about merge augmented reality and machine learning technology in a way that kids can interact and learn from a world they see every day. For example, in the alphabet game, the app can recognize objects near the child and tell them the first letter of the object's name. And number 3, it's about our lessons. We developed our lessons with the top 28 educators in the US. So how do we make money? Now we use subscription business model. How I said before, parents download app and pay that. And we tested different prices and different places of paywall in the app for a good conversion. Yeah, and we continue to test at this time as well. And of course, we want to work like B2B as well, for work with teachers. And if you want, I can tell about that after my pitch. So about where we are. We launched our app in the late of June. Now we have thousands of installs and hundreds of payment subscribers. And this is then our product is just 5% ready. And our goal for the next year is a great unit economic revenue around $3 million. And we want to, and this is when our product will be ready just for 25% ready. And one more thing, it's about our mission. We believe that education is a rule, is not privilege. And this is why we, for one purchase subscription, we donate 1 free subscription for family who can't afford one. And for example, we donate this subscription for families who was unemployment during COVID-19. And this is our team. As I said before, we worked 5 years together, and now we want to use all our knowledge in one big project. What we are looking for now, for our goal the next year, now we need around $1 million, but we understand that this is some huge number for our stage maybe right now, and this is why we're looking for just $300,000 for the next steps. I would be happy to show you how it works after my pitch and answer your question. Thank you for attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Questions?
I guess it was for me, by the way, really exciting space. I think, again, to the point of everything really going digital. There is no better time than now to really change the face of education, engagement of children today that are really kind of growing up in this digital stage. And so the old-fashioned classroom has to be really, I think, reimagined for children, because I think there's new ways of interacting. So I really like this space. I think this is a great space you're in. It wasn't very clear to me what the format of learning was. I mean, I understand that AR, VR, and artificial intelligence, ML, might be used. I understand that. But in terms of, to the point of walk me through an example. So this is for a family to purchase, and this is to augment the child's learning experience with various subjects. Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
Yeah, I can say that, for example, we use augmented reality just for visualization. We understand that augmented reality is not core of product, because it's just this like wow effect for kids. Then they want more engagement in the lesson. But we use artificial intelligence like brain for our app. Because this is how we can work with content. This is how we can make analysis for how children use that, what kind of subjects more interesting for them, what kind of subjects we can recommend them to use, for example, like that. Yeah, this is how we work with these two technologies.
So it's really to work with a child to see how they can improve or their knowledge in certain subjects, or whether they want to explore further. That's really what the point of this is then. This is not really then a formalized learning tool that's then coordinated with the schools?
Our app, how to say, our big goal is replace home tutor. Because home tutor,
I see. Okay, got it.
Yeah, helps to understand difficult concepts from school.
I think it would have been very helpful if you had said that, right from the right in the front, just to say, look, we're not really, we're about kids' education, blah blah blah, but here's what we are. This is our whole purpose, is to give the child. So in the old days, make an analogy with what the old days were, right? The old days were, kids might have to go to an encyclopedia, pick up things and do this. Now it's like the virtual encyclopedia. They might actually, use online searching mechanisms to then expand their knowledge depending on their age, etc. If you're very, very young, you're not going to do that. You're going to rely on a parent to kind of help you through that and walk you through that process. So kind of paint the scenario of what exactly you are, how a child benefits from this experience. So walk us through an example. I think that would be very helpful. And to say that you are kind of replacing a home tutor, for example.
I really agree. I mean, I don't know who here, is parents or has had children, in that age range, but, there are also that sort of the frame, and then how a kid gets to it also docks into different pedagogical approaches. So, it could be experience like in Montessori, the concept of child-led. So if a child leads into it, then it's probably more like positioned like a game, because their curiosity is leading it. And then there's sort of interest intersects with it being available to them, and they can self intuit how to access it and then to experience it. On the other hand, if a parent is always leading it, then you need to dock into a framework that the parent is using. Like the parent needs to recognize that the kid needs more work in such and such. So I think that the magic that you have, there's a lot around what the frame is. And I just wonder if you should be owning and defining the frame, or if you would be better off as a white label provider and enabling different providers that have different kinds of frames to define what they need, and then to use you to make their lessons, if you will, or their experiences. I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where you play, because you're boiling a really big ocean.
Yeah,
and younger kids, they can't they're so limited on what they can self-serve. So
it's a great point, Teresa. And I'm a homeschooling parent and also an executive. So it's been, many years of a challenge. And now, so I'm very familiar with what parents face if they're, both working. And now with COVID, everybody's a homeschooling parent. So the challenge really comes down to how much can be done for me, because the more that I have to do myself, the more time it takes me. And I'm not a full-time teacher, so I've always looked for those platforms that can allow me to give my children a really good experience without requiring me to curate that experience. If I can research it ahead of time and then deliver something to them that is self-sufficient, that's the ideal. So what you're saying, Teresa, is really great. I wouldn't have time, obviously, my kids aren't that age, but I wouldn't have time to put together a big program. But there are many platforms out there that do put together programs, and they're very varying in quality. If you were a provider, a technology provider, as Teresa's suggesting, to other platforms that could put together a curated experience for my kids, then virtual reality, awesome. None of the ones that I've been able to access have had anything like that, or else they don't have good content, So
Yeah.
providing
I mean,
that
imagine like a 4 to 8 year old, and like Lisa is here on this conference call, and then her activity finishes halfway through. And then, that may sound super pedestrian, but like that's literally the hellscape that every parent is dealing with right now with younger kids. And it's real, so yes, we want the quality of education, but you need to know how much time your kids are, when they're going to be coming up for air.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think, and to your point, I mean, it's been a while since my kids were that young, but I think in general, a lot of the exploratory kind of activities my kids used to do, and then admittedly this was a while back, but it was a self-directed sort of thing, because if I could put them onto an activity, but then they could, because it was a game or whatever, that was what was coming on at that time, they would stay with it, and they could then go to the next level. So maybe there was level 1 or 2 or wherever they were at, but now they could say, okay, I've finished that module. Now you can say, once you finish that, you can go ahead, and if you think you want to do another game in the same level, go do that, and then maybe try on a different game. So it depends on how you're trying to engage sort of self-help kind of self-directed kind of activities, because even kids of that age, they're very curious and they just very eager and engaged. And if the platform itself is engaging, they themselves will kind of take themselves through that journey and explore much further into either one subject or a different subject. So I think that's the kind of information that would be really helpful to have, and to be able to provide the parent to say, you can set your child on this path, and say, go do 1, 2, 3 here, and then go explore and do more. And, just if it's a self-directed kind of activity, I think it could be really enriching.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you for your advices, Anatoly.
Thank you for your advices. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for advices.
Let's catch up an email. And thank you for your time, guys. Yeah, see you on the next week. Thank you for this. Yeah, woman.
Good seeing you again, Lisa. And
yes,
see you, Manana. And nice to meet you, Teresa, as well.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Lisa. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Teresa.
Bye-bye.